Welcome to Distracted Media. I'm your host, Zack Rossiter.
And I'm your more important host, Kyle Wiseman.
And by more important, he means more dead.
No!
Today we're going to be going down the top 5 worst Fox superhero movies in light of the whole fact that Fox is basically losing all of their assets to Disney or Comcast. Kyle, why don't you hit us with your 5th worst Fox superhero movie?
This was actually a hard decision for me, but I chose X-Men 3, The Last Stand. Now,
This is actually going to be my number 4. So
okay. Yeah, see, it's not... I find it's a film that's, it's still entertaining to watch, but out of, like, every X-Men series, including... Well, I don't know about Wolverine's trilogy per se, but definitely out of the two primary trilogies, this is the most disappointing film.
it was the biggest letdown for me in the entire Fox plethora. That's for sure.
Yeah,
You know that my favorite storyline in the X-Men comics is the Dark Phoenix,
yeah.
and it was just completely bad. It was not what it should have been at all, in the slightest.
um, for one, we had a story that concentrated on Logan, and
Yes, that was my
let, let,
biggest problem with it.
let's face it, like, this was the beginning of the Wolverine craze. Like, I can understand, like, how the first two movies were definitely...
Well, even the first one was Logan and Rogue's movie.
Yeah.
But the
And
second one, that was Wolverine's movie, and it was completely understandable. That was a story that was actually meant to focus
that was
around him.
his
Yeah.
primary story, yeah.
But the third
So,
one was Scott's story. That was not
yeah.
Logan's story.
And they chose to do Logan's perspective regardless, so it does suffer because of that. Particularly seeing how Jean Grey and Logan, if I'm being honest, don't have that much chemistry. The actor and the actress behind them.
Yeah.
Um, and this is like a minor spoiler, but like Scott is killed very early in the film.
I'm.
So any
I remember when I see that in theaters, I was like, he's not dead. I was like, he can't be. I was like, this is just, he's gonna show up at the end. He's gonna be the final thing saved. I can live with that. But then when he just never shows up by the end of that movie, I was just like, what's going on?
the emotional resonance that they could have had with his character arc was entirely undone within the first act of the film, and I think it's primarily that reason that I put it on my list. Even though there are certain things I liked, such as Magneto's character, and him and Charles actually had like a really cool moment in the third film, even though
I thought they had
uh,
better character chemistry in the second film, though,
yeah,
with the
it's
whole
true.
chess playing and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about some of the characters that were introduced for The Last Stand, such as Juggernaut.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Let's just be very grateful. Let's be very grateful that there's been a new version.
Yeah, we have a much better Juggernaut now, but my god, that was so cheesy
I'm the
and
Juggernaut, bitch.
terrible acting, terrible costume, and terrible sizing. Like, it's just, that's not the Juggernaut.
Yeah, that wasn't the Juggernaut. That was ridiculous.
Who else did they introduce?
Angel.
Angel, I didn't mind so much.
I thought it was dumb.
His character is minor. He's only important for like 2 scenes, I think.
Beast was introduced. I didn't mind.
I love Kelsey Grammer's Beast is actually really good.
Yeah, he was a good choice for Beast.
Yeah.
We also had more of a focus on Kitty. There was a love arc between Kitty Pryde and Iceman, and Rogue
Didn't care
kind of
about
the
that.
triangle. What?
Yeah, I didn't care about that, but I guess I can see like how some people might find it interesting.
I thought it was kind of just pushed in, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
We got to
I'd
see
like
Iceman become actual Iceman, though, for the first time.
Pyro and Iceman fight too, don't they?
Yeah, they have a fight at
For
the end.
Yeah, so I did enjoy that, like, because they do develop Pyro a bit early on in the film. So
Spike was in it, too. He was very minor, but he's usually an X-Men, not a Brotherhood member, but he was a Brotherhood member in this one.
yeah,
So it was kind of cool just to see a few little extra superheroes. Like it gave us a few little extras. Like it had a few nods to some of the X Men stuff if you're more familiar with X Men, which I didn't mind. But the fact that it took my favorite arc and just was like,
yeah.
let's shit on this and
Well,
completely destroy it.
primarily, the, like it seems like it's two different arcs at once because you have the primary mutants versus humanity storyline, which is definitely what they were trying to go for with this film, with Magneto versus Charles Xavier's final X Men. Um, but you also have Jean Grey caught up in the middle of it, and it's just messy.
Yeah. Do you think that the new Phoenix movie is going to be any better?
I don't know. The new Jean Grey is pretty bad, if I'm being
You don't
honest. I don't
like
like.
Sophie
I
Turner?
don't.
I
No,
think
I
she's
don't
an
like the
alright
actress.
actress. I think she's an alright actress, and I think that I mean, like, it can't. Can it? I guess it can disappoint me more. I hope it doesn't. But the bar is pretty low
Yeah.
already, so it doesn't have much to climb over. Uh, but I mean, like, Disney's got their grips into it now. Who knows what'll happen?
And they don't exactly have the best track record with superhero films.
Uh, they have a good track record for making the same movie over and over.
Well, that's what we want to see.
Um, all
But
right.
yeah,
Anything else you want to add?
no, that's pretty much all I had to say about X Men 3, honestly.
Excuse me. All right. Well, we'll move on to my number five. My number five is Logan.
Really?
Yep. And I know this was in your actual top five favorite, but I thought Logan, and it's mainly just due to the fact it's got the Black Panther kind of feeling for me. It's so overrated, and it upsets me that it's held at such high standard. Uh, and I get bored when I watch it, man. There's a legitimate full section in the middle of that movie where I'm bored, and I couldn't even finish it the second time I watched it. I know I went through all this in my top five best
Yeah.
Fox superhero movies, but I just want to state again, like, why I don't think this movie is that good, and I think that the cons way outweigh the pros, and people, I think, I don't know. I guess I could see why people would like it, but it's such an indie film, man.
Are you talking about thematically?
Just like the direction and the writing just feels really indie. It feels
Okay.
like it tries to like be too serious, I guess, with certain aspects and things like that. Almost like I don't even know how to explain it. Almost like it's full of itself, you know? Like that hipster fucker who waves his hair and he's like, oh, I don't know. I'm personally more into this kind of direction. Just like, shut up, man. Like, these are comic book movies. Give me some fun. I don't want to see Wolverine fight Wolverine again. I want to see Wolverine take on Omega Red.
Uh,
Like,
I know, like, I got that, but I always just thought of that. When I first saw it, I instantly thought, alright, in order to come to terms with his own death, Logan has to basically kill himself. He needs to make way for the. This is the end of Wolverine and the beginning of a new generation of mutants. And that's how I kind of thought they were trying to establish it
I just thought
by.
it was dumb. It was just. We already went over the cheesy ending and stuff. For me, it was just too cheesy and, like, turning the cross into an X.
I
Just
well, Yeah, I know, but I personally like the writing, and
I think
I'm
if the
not.
movie was like, how long? What's the runtime on that movie?
Um,
Like 2.5 hours.
I don't think it's that long. It's probably like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something.
It should have been like an hour and a half. That movie
Well,
was way too long for what it was. And there's
I
certain things I like about it. Like I like certain sections, like the section where Charles is having one of his seizures, and Wolverine's like fighting through to get to him. I really enjoy that section,
oh, that was fucking cool, man.
but like, it's just not enough for me, you know. And I liked anything with the little girl. The little girl was badass, but
Yeah, X-23.
yeah, but like other than that, man, I just thought it just didn't do it for me.
They're actually making a sequel now, from what I know, like an actual X-23 film for just her character. I don't know if they plan on going with the child version though, or the more teenage one from the comics, but it'd be cool either way. Um, I just one last note on Logan. Like, there's the reason there's a reason that it was in my top five. So I highly recommend that you check out that video if you like to hear my opinion on Logan. But I won't waste your time on this video, I guess.
Yeah, well, this is more just we're dissing movies basically. So yeah, if we have the top five best, and he does talk about Logan in it. All right, so we'll go to your number four, but we're just gonna skip my number four, seeing as how it was X-Men
Your,
last time.
all right. My number four was Daredevil.
Nah, it's not making my list. I like Daredevil with Ben Affleck.
Oh come you put Logan on the list, but
I'd
Daredevil doesn't.
way rather watch Daredevil than Logan.
Okay, let's start with Daredevil's. I'd say main flaw. It's got Ben Affleck in the lead role.
You already know how I feel about this. I like Ben Affleck as an actor, so we're gonna disagree on that point.
Ben Affleck is not that great an actor, and this is particularly true early on in his career during the early 2000s when he made an even worse attempt to make a Batman character.
He does kind of play Daredevil like Batman in that movie, but I was fine with that because they're both kind of similar characters anyway.
I think I was going to say I think he portrays both characters poorly, but in my opinion, he does Daredevil much better than Batman. That's my opinion.
The only thing I really didn't like about Daredevil was the shit with Elektra. I wasn't a big...
Jenna,
Sorry.
Jennifer Garner's actually a pretty good actress, but I have to say she didn't really bring her A game for this film in particular. And I know like they were husband and wife for the longest while, maybe even still.
I
But,
think they're divorced. I could be wrong about that.
okay, yeah. Well, there's anyway. Like they don't have that much chemistry on screen, honestly, for two people that are actually married or were married.
Yeah, I just don't see... I think, I don't know, maybe... I am in the minority, so maybe I'm the crazy one, but I just don't see why everybody hates Daredevil so much. I never had a problem with it. I like Bullseye. I know a lot of people say Bullseye is the reason they don't like it. I thought he was awesome. He's so hilarious.
Okay, I didn't find him funny, but I did enjoy his character. I would have liked to see him in a suit. Like his suit was actually fucking stupid in that movie, especially the stupid.
I didn't think it was stupid. I just thought it wasn't nearly as cool as what's in the comic. But that was during a time when they were too scared to pull the trigger on comic book superhero suits. Like look at all the old X-Men ones. They were just like, let's put him in a leather biker outfit, and it like you can barely make out the X.
But the Daredevil suit was pretty much straight from the comics.
Yeah, but that was your hero. I don't know. I see what you mean, but like they did kind of, how do I put this, modernize suits in some things during those times.
Yeah.
It's like producers were too scared to pull the triggers on some suits, and maybe they looked at Bullseye's and was just like, no.
Coming back to Black Panther for a second, this movie's way more pro-black, if you will, than than Black Panther is. I mean, Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, and
He is amazing as Kingpin. The guy in the Daredevil Netflix series TV show, he does a really good job too. But Michael Clark Duncan is like the perfect pick for Kingpin.
yeah, and like for 2004, like I know we're still past the race hate kind of thing. What like you still hear about racist tensions even today.
Yeah.
In 2004, it was a lot more controversial to have a black character.
Well, it was a lot more unseen and stuff, and it was a lot. It wasn't even that it was controversial; it's that people said it would never happen more often, right? When it was happening, but I just, like I said, man, it's about the character, not the race. And Michael Clark Duncan proved that
Yeah.
he was perfect for the character.
I don't think Daredevil's a horrible movie. In fact, like I like the origin story and how it's portrayed. Like it's actually done really well. It's a lot of the middle sections, like
With Elektra, like
yeah.
I said, yeah, it's the Elektra stuff that's dumb. I just kind of like get
like
through
that
it.
stupid playground fight.
Oh, the
man,
playground
is-
fight's the worst scene in the movie. That could completely just be erased from the movie. I skip it when I watch it, so I literally fast forward it.
But yeah, like there's some problems with the writing. It's not a horrible film. I don't like Ben Affleck in it, but like I can tolerate him. It made my list just because of the writing and the direction and the acting. Like it's all subpar. None of it is terrible, but it's very underwhelming for a film. And this was 2004, coming off of the success of Spider-Man 2 and X-Men 2. So I had high hopes going into Daredevil.
I will say this though: the Netflix Daredevil series is infinitely better than the movie.
Okay.
But that said, the Netflix Daredevil series is one of my favorite thing Marvel has ever done, and it's made my favorite. Before that, my favorite superhero Marvel had was probably, I'm gonna guess, Spider-Man. But now my favorite Marvel superhero is easily Daredevil because of that show.
He's a cool character, besides the whole Matt Murdock, Stan Lee naming all of his characters with the same initials.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Peter Parker, Matt Murdock, Bruce Banner. I don't really care. It's just like, all right, it's just, what is it? Alliteration.
Yeah.
It's just him using that.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Daredevil. Not a terrible film, just a subpar one.
It just bored you, I'm guessing. Like it was because it was so par on so many fronts. It was just boring for you.
Yeah, and like I was saying, it came off the success of two fantastic films, so it. Yeah, I don't want to judge it compared to them, but like as a kid going into it, I have to.
Mm-hmm. All right, my fourth was Last Stand. So, did you want to just jump right into your number 3, or do you want me to do it, or what?
Yeah, sure. I'll go into my number 3, which was X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Which is actually not going to make my list either. There are
What?
Yeah, there's things I like about that movie.
You're technically saying that X-Men Origins Wolverine is a better film than Logan.
Yeah.
I hope you realize that.
Because I wasn't bored watching X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh my god.
Because it's so cheesy, it's laughable.
It's laughably cheesy. It's got a lot of horrible acting, but the action is pretty awesome.
It's
I
so
gotta give
bad
it
it's
that.
good, and it has redeeming action. That's why I actually thought about this when I was choosing. And I said just for that factor, because Logan, I was bored. I wasn't bored in Origins.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a better script. It's not. It's a way worse script, but they make such bad choices that it's funny.
Like, I agree, it's just... I disliked all the villains. It was a terrible idea for Deadpool to be introduced, but at least at the end, his fight scene with Logan's pretty awesome.
Except for when he spins through the reactor with his laser eyes. That was
Yeah.
absolutely horrible. But it was so bad, it was good.
Well, the CGI was just horrible in that film. In
Worst
general.
CGI in that movie is when he cuts the sink with his claws. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've seen better CGI in like. There was better claw CGI in X-Men 1. Like, that's
Yeah.
sad.
There's no excuse. X-Men Origins Wolverine was basically just Fox's attempt to earn a bit of extra cash by putting as little effort into making a film as possible.
Um,
And it,
the thing I did like about it, though, one thing I did, they introduced a lot of new X-Men characters that I actually really enjoyed. I just wish we'd get more of them. Like, they had Gambit, and they had the Blob, and
Deadpool is part
Deadpool.
of X-Force, so he's technically...
and they had crap. What's his name? Was it Zero, the guy with the guns? The Asian guy. Can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name.
But he's a cool character in the comics too. So like, it had some cool characters, it had some really cool action moments, it had some really cheesy story moments, and for those reasons, I actually enjoy watching it when I watch it.
It's a bad film, in my opinion. It's so bad it was worth owning. Like, it's an X-Men
He
film.
gets-
I don't...
He gets shot in the head with an adamantium bullet and loses his memory. Oh, it's so fucking cheesy. Yeah, I don't mind owning it either.
I did like Sabretooth, though. I am thinking of the right film, right?
I think Buddy
Yeah.
did a better job portraying Sabretooth, but I think the other Sabretooth looked cooler.
Oh, yeah, like, his look was cooler in X-Men 1. But, I did like the relationship between him and Logan.
Yeah.
It was
It was one of the interesting aspects, and it makes me wonder if that's what more of the original script focused on, because I know producers like to get their little fucking fingers and stuff and change things.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if, because it starts off, even the movie starts off focused around them, right? The Civil War, and then shows them going through the war scenes, which was actually an awesome intro to a movie. That was a great intro, in my opinion. Them going through each section of history.
Yeah. It's like Suicide Squad, though. It starts off great, and then it kind of just...
Starts to fall apart.
It falls apart, yeah.
But I think that I would say that Origins has a cooler ending than Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad's ending is fucking bad.
Is, X-Men Origins Wolverine is just not... It's not a horrible film, it's just a bad film that got some redeeming qualities.
Yeah,
So
and it's fun to watch.
it's for that reason that I put it as my number 3, honestly.
So yeah, anything else you want to add?
No, that's pretty much it.
Alright, so my number 3 is Fantastic Four: Rise of Silver Surfer.
Okay, that's my number 2, so...
Yeah.
my-
This movie has one good thing about it. Literally one. It has one redeeming quality, and it's the reason that it's going to go over the next two. And that is that it has Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer was done really well in that movie. In fact, we have a review of this movie on our channel if you want to watch it.
I'd recommend not watching it, because we did some pretty horrible
No,
reviews,
that's
so-
actually when I started to get into my stride, so it's actually one of my better reviews.
Oh,
So I
okay.
can recommend that one, but don't go back any further.
No.
But yeah. Fantastic Four: Rise of Silver Surfer. I don't know why I watched it, because I should have known. It looked better than the first one, and it is better than the first one.
Just barely, though. That's the problem. It's just a
And
slightly
it's because
better
of
version.
Silver Surfer, yeah, but
Yeah.
there are things about it that are just absolutely garbage. Like, the acting, other than Silver Surfer, is garbage. The fucking script is garbage.
The funny thing is, like, I really enjoy Chris Evans, and fuck, what's his name? The guy who played the Thing. Do you remember his
Ben
the
Grimm,
actors?
I don't know the actor's name. He was from S.H.I.E.L.D., the show The S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. Like, he's actually a great actor if you catch him in anything else. But, like, holy crap, those two actors are really bad in Fantastic Four. And I can understand Chris Evans, but like I guess it was just um it was just like a poor casting choice for Ben Grimm.
Michael Chiklis is his name.
Michael Chiklis, thank you. Yeah, Michael Chiklis is actually a pretty good actor, but it was just like a miscast for a film. And Jessica Alba, just
she's only hired because she's hot.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Like I've never thought she's been a great actress really in like anything.
Yeah, no.
But she is nice to look at.
Oh my god, dude, smoking.
But yeah, so they had Chris Evans, who was probably
the best of the four.
Yeah. Ian Grufford as Mr. Fantastic, and Julian McMahon as Doctor Doom, who's actually not that bad of an actor, and he's probably better than the four that other than Chris Evans.
I thought Doctor Doom was in the first one.
He was as well, but he's just so stupid in those movies. They were just like, he's such a cool character in the comics, and they're just like, let's just give him electricity powers. So it's, I don't know, it's just like, it's like a producer once again got his fingers in it, and he was just like, oh, that's dumb, I don't want that. Galactus can't be, Galactus. Let's make him a giant cloud. Just little things like that just completely pull the movie apart and make it my easy number 3 worst.
Well, the reason it made my number 2, honest, like, beyond all that, besides the terrible scripting, the acting, the direction, I really didn't like a lot of the cinematography in either Fantastic Four film. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
but the costume of Ben Grimm was absolutely atrocious. Like, it was Comic-Con laughable, man.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And then the CGI for Silver Surfer, too.
The humor, too, in these movies is just downright stupid. And it's just like, it's jokes that we made, like, when we were, like, 10. Like, there's a joke where, like, he's dancing with some girls, Mr. Fantastic, and she's like, can anything get bigger? It's like, oh my god. It's just like, no.
That's the kind of jokes we would have made when we were 12.
Yeah. So yeah, number 3, easy, worst. You said that was your number 2, so I guess we'll just skip to my number 2.
Yeah.
Alright, my number 2 is Fant4stic, the remake of Fantastic Four. Now I know
I was just going to say, I had a feeling that this would make it on your list. Unfortunately, I can't really talk much about it because I haven't seen the full film.
Well, I'll let you in on some details and you can make your opinion. So yeah, Fant4stic is probably the most noticeably messed up movie from a production side. When you watch it, you can just see a bad production. You can see problems behind the scenes.
Okay.
For example, what's her name? Kate. Just a second. I'll get the cast up here now real quick. Fant4stic cast. Kate Mara. And the thing about this movie is it had a phenomenal cast. Michael B. Jordan, who played Killmonger. Kate Mara played Sue Storm. She's a phenomenal actress. Miles Teller played Mr. Fantastic. He's amazing. Jamie Bell played the Thing. He's like a pretty good actor too. Not as good as the other 3, but he's good. Toby Kebbell played Doctor Doom. He's an amazing actor too. Like, this had a phenomenal cast, but like when you're watching the movie, you're just like, things went wrong behind the scenes with this movie. Because, for example, okay, so Kate Mara, so they had to like get a bunch of reshots done afterwards because I think they fired what's his name and had to like reshoot the movie completely, or they made him like reshoot a lot of it because the producers at Fox didn't like it. So when she came back, her hair was like different. So like half of the movie she has like normal hair, and then the other half she's wearing a blonde wig, and it's like the most noticeable thing ever because it's like it's happening like in scenes. So it'll be like one part of the scene she has that hair, and then it'll like switch the camera angle, and now she has a wig on.
What the fuck? That's terrible.
Oh my god, dude, you don't even know. So like another thing.
Why didn't they just shoot everything, like reshoot all of her scenes.
I have no idea. I think that I blame this. A lot of people. So there's a lot of hearsay when it comes to this movie because apparently, the Josh Trank, who actually directed, that superhero movie I brought over to your house that you didn't like,
Oh,
the found footage one,
yeah, I didn't
Chronicle.
like that.
Yeah, so he directed that as well. So apparently, the producers and stuff said that he was drunk all the time when they were filming this. And he says that the producers basically were fucking him at every turn because of their movie's success. Because he went into this telling them, I'm going to turn this into basically the Dark Knight, right? Like, this is going to be the Dark Knight version of the Fantastic Four. Dark, gritty,
I do remember though that the actors were complaining about him, so I
Well,
can't
that
say
was,
that.
I think that was mostly due to the fact that he didn't want Kate Mara to play Susan Storm. He had someone else in mind, and the producers wouldn't let him switch it. So apparently he was a dick to her the entire time, and the other cast were like, "Why is he such a dick to her?" Like,
Jeez.
yeah, it was a horrible production. It was what happens when everything on a production goes wrong. So yeah, when I watched it, you can see hints of his movie and hints of the movie he didn't want to make. Like, it's you can tell there's a distance between these two things that are in the same thing. It's like a Frankenstein, right? It starts off actually when I watched it for the first time. About a quarter way through, I was like, "This isn't that bad." I don't know what everybody's talking about, right?
Yeah.
And like they get their powers, I was like, "Oh, this is actually pretty cool." And when they first get their powers, it's so cool because it's almost like a horror film, like them reacting to them getting their powers. Like, fucking Mr. Fantastic is like pulling himself along the ground, and it's like a horror scene. He like looks over, he sees the Human Torch like up on flames, but the Human Torch isn't moving, so he just thinks he's like on fire and burning to death. And he just sees like piles of rubble everywhere because of Banger. And then he looks behind, he sees his legs all like stretched out, and he like freaks the fuck out and passes out. And then it shows him being like tested on in like a lab by a bunch of scientists and stuff, trying to figure out how he is the way he is and stuff. And they have like Ben Grimm locked in this like container and shit like that. And like it was really dark. I was like, okay, this is cool. We can do something here. But then the movie just stops. And it just doesn't do anything. It just goes nowhere until the end. And then randomly at the end, for some reason, they don't explain why, Doctor Doom wants to kill them. And they have a big fight, which is really bad looking. And then a giant light beam shoots through the sky. They like knock him into it or something, I can't remember. And then it closes, and then the movie's over. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Okay. I have to admit, like, it looked and sounded a lot better than the previous Fantastic Four.
I was really excited for this movie before I saw it. Like, I think that it could have potentially have been one of the best superhero movies ever made. I just think that the production was what really destroyed this movie.
I know I'm in the minority here, but I just always thought of the Fantastic Four as an incredibly boring series of superheroes.
I didn't. I think that they're pretty much the same thing as the Ninja Turtles, where it's like it's more. The Fantastic Four has to be a story about family. In the comics, it's always a story about family. Family comes first, kind of thing, right? Learning through family, things like that, right? And they've never touched on that in the movies. Not once.
Well, see, Susan and Reed have a son at some point. I don't think they become the Fantastic Five or whatever.
No.
But like, they're the family. The essence of family is definitely most important there.
Yeah.
And then you have Uncle Johnny, and I don't know Ben Grimm's relation, but like their close friend.
Yeah, he's pretty much brothers with. He's that close to Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, that he's pretty much like his brother. But they never touch on that aspect, and it's a real shame too, because there are potentially really good, not only like gritty movies like this could have been, but I think it would also work just like if you in a more lighthearted sense like the other ones were, but those were just so campy,
Yeah.
right? So it's a shame for people that do enjoy Fantastic Four. It's never been my favorite group of heroes, but I've always wanted to see them done justice, because they have not been done justice yet.
Okay. Anything else that you want to talk about with Fan 4 Stick?
No, I think that's good. I think I got my point across. It's just certain movies I laugh at, certain movies I'm bored. This movie just is, it's a sad story for me.
Yeah.
That it's more than anything, and that's why it takes my number 2. And I think our number 1 is going to be the same thing. Let's see, what's your number 1, Kyle?
The original Fantastic
And
Four.
you got it. No, wait, do you mean the original, like the 90s? Or...
I didn't even include
No, same. Though that's not a movie. That's just
2004, I think it was.
Yeah,
or
that's also my number 1. This movie's garbage.
Yeah, it's not even disappointment isn't even the right word, because I went in with low expectations and it set the bar even lower than that.
Is Fantastic Four, the original, worse than Batman v Superman for you?
Oh God, yes.
Okay.
Fantastic Four. I'd rather watch that 3-hour director's cut of Batman v Superman than either Fantastic Four or Rise of the Silver Surfer. That's how bad I think those movies are.
Yeah. Fantastic Four, the very first one, is arguably one of the worst. It is one of the worst. It could arguably be the worst superhero movie of all time. Depending on what your limitations are. I don't really include some of the like classic Marvel movies because I won't watch them. So,
or like Superman Returns or whatever.
I don't mind Superman Returns.
Or not Superman Returns, sorry.
The classic Supermans I don't like. I won't watch those. And
they did a Supergirl, like Superman spin-off.
So when there's movies like that, which I can look at and just like, that is not even, no, right?
That's horrendous.
Yeah, that's not even a movie, right? I won't even watch it. There's just, it looks like literally a bunch of people like me and you were like, well, we got $200, let's make a movie. Like, just no. So
are you sure? Why not go to a strip club? Nah, let's make a movie.
Let's make a really shitty rendition of Fantastic Four. Yeah. So, but yeah, this could easily be one of the worst, if not the worst, superhero movie of all time.
It suffers from all the same flaws that we're talking about in Rise of the Silver Surfer, except more, because the script is even worse. The characters are less interesting, and you have to go through the whole origin story, which, let's face it, their origin story was poorly handled in this film.
Their origin story in Fan 4 Stick was actually handled well. It's the only part of the movie, like I said, that is good. This movie's origin story is just fucking dumb. And the worst part about it, because I know this won't be like as big for you because you don't care about it that much for Fantastic Four, they're not your favorite superheroes, but the fact that Doctor Doom was up there with them and then he came back with electricity powers fucking rotted me. Like, I was just like, no. Doctor Doom is supposed to be one of the coolest Marvel villains, and he's supposed to be even an Avengers level villain. He's that strong. And just to do that to him, it's just like, what have you done? Shame on you. I remember being a kid when I remember going to theaters to see this because my mom took me to all these movies because she knew I loved them. She took me to all the X-Men's, all the Spider-Mans, all that. Yeah. And I remember walking out of Fantastic Four because I read some Fantastic Four comics and stuff. I didn't like Fantastic Four. Excuse me. I didn't like Fantastic Four as much as like X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. But I had a few of their comics and I didn't mind them. And my mom and me went in, and I remember walking out, and I looked at her, and I just went, like, almost as if I was questioning it. I was like, that movie was bad. Like,
it's like that.
And I was a kid, so like,
wait, did that just happen?
And my mom looked at me, and she went, yeah, that movie was bad. So like, even as a kid, when you like you don't really understand movie structures, and you don't really understand true critical thinking or anything. You're more just there for like the comiciness, like the fights and just silly one-liners and things like that. Things that kids more enjoy. Even then I was like, that was garbage.
Well, for example, there are dramas that I didn't like as a kid because I was more into action films. But I can obviously appreciate those now. You can't appreciate Fantastic Four now. It's a movie. It's like E.T. the video game. It just deserves to be dumped into this. Every single copy of it deserves to be dumped into this trash pile that would just set on fire, or bury in the desert somewhere, or whatever.
It sits on a pedestal with Batman and Robin. I think it's like there's like certain movies. It's probably worse actually because there's
no. I'd actually rather
things.
watch Batman and
Robin.
Robin.
I agree. There are funny things in Batman and Robin, but there are. It's so campy that it pushed further past it. It's so bad that it was bad, and then it was so bad it's good, and then it went even further past that where it's so bad that it's still just bad.
It's like, it's not The Room bad, but it's kind of close.
I can't stand it. I've tried to rewatch it a few times just because I'm a superhero fan, but like I cannot stand this movie. The CGI is terrible. The story is horrendous. The acting choices were horrible. It doesn't have Silver Surfer, so it doesn't have that one little redeeming quality.
Once again, Ben Grimm's costume from Comic-Con.
I remember, okay, so there's a joke in it. I'll just say one of the jokes in this one, too, just to give you an idea of the humor. A bird lands on him and poops on him because he's a rock. Get it? Because he's a rock? See, that...
That's so good.
That's so fucking stupid, man. Like, just... These movies are just what happens when you give producers who don't care about the product too much control. And in their mind, they're thinking, I just want to sell a lot of toys. And I'm happy that this movie did so horrible because, like, whereas Batman and Robin... I
was going to say toys and tickets to children. Because you could tell it was dedicated towards children compared to the Spider-Man or X-Men trilogy.
But whereas, like, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever actually sold a shit ton of toys to kids, I'm pretty sure this movie didn't sell many toys. Because it was just that bad. Even kids were like, what the fuck was that? Like, I feel molested or something. Jesus.
Like, I don't want... Why the fuck would I want a toy of a shitty movie? No.
Why do I suddenly feel like I did on my first communion?
You dirty ass fucking priest.
But yeah, so that's my thoughts on this movie. I don't know how else I can say it. This movie is just fucking garbage, man. This is the worst thing Fox has ever put out in terms of superhero movies.
I agree.
It's literally a delight.
It's the worst thing anyone has ever come out with in terms of superhero films.
I think we're gonna have to. It's definitely worse than anything the MCU has put out. But we're going to be doing our DC top 5 best and worst soon, so that may be up for debate because there are certain movies like Catwoman out there.
Oh, I forgot about Catwoman.
It's like, it's like you just see like a camera just like shoot right in front of you, and it just like quickly pans up to your face, like I forgot about Catwoman.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a movie so bad I forgot it existed, but more on that later.
Yeah, we'll be doing the top 5 worst DC movies after we do the top 5 best. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Fantastic Four. Anything else you want to say?
No. Should we leave a film recommendation, seeing how we just talked about the 5 worst films? We got to give them something good.
Something Fox, maybe?
I have to go with... Prometheus, I guess. It was basically Alien 5, if you will, the 5th Alien film, with Ridley Scott returning to direct it, and A lot of people overlook it, but I think it's up there with the best Alien films. It's not as good as Alien or Aliens, but it was a return to form after the last two Alien films we'd gotten previous to that.
Now, Kyle,
So,
why didn't you recommend Alien Covenant?
no, we don't talk about Alien Covenant.
I don't know what movie you're talking about, Zach. That movie doesn't exist. Yeah, I like Prometheus too, and I'm not a crazy fan of the Alien series, but I really did enjoy Prometheus. In fact, I think it's the only Alien movie I actually own.
Lots of fantastic acting in it too. I'm really bad with some actor names, but I like the two leads, the female and the male
she's
lead.
smoking hot too.
Really?
Yeah.
I was all for Charlize Theron.
Yeah, it's because she got the MILF look, you sick bastard.
I don't know what you're talking about, but anyways, she was fantastic in this film, and so was Michael Fassbender. And Guy Pearce even shows up as the old man.
Yeah. Guy Pearce is a
Yeah.
good actor.
Yeah, Guy Pearce is awesome. So it's just like great direction, obviously, because it's Ridley Scott returning to the very franchise he pretty much began. And I personally enjoyed the script. I know some people weren't a fan, but it deals with a lot of themes on the nature of humanity as well, and aliens, and obviously aliens, but like what we consider alien to us.
It also plays with history a little bit too, like mysteries of history, which was probably my favorite thing about the movie. Kind of like,
Yeah.
was our history wrong? Was there what are gods actually? It's very subtle how it tells it in the story, but I liked it. I always have been a fan of those mysteries, so
Yeah. So I would highly recommend Prometheus for that reason.
I would as well. But my recommendation of a Fox movie is The Martian, starring Matt Damon. It's based off a book, if my memory serves me correctly. The Martian is... Excuse me. Sorry. The Martian is awesome. There's no other way around it. It's just a great survival story. I like my survival stories every now and then.
Now, it's not like Gravity survival stories. 'cause that
No,
was
it's
horrible.
more like... it's not even really like 127 hours. It's more like a survival story that's more like upbeat and humorous and happy, because the character's just kind of like a more humorous character, but it's obviously him fighting against the elements that Mars is presenting him to try and survive with the limited knowledge that he has, right? Or as he says it, science the shit out of it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, The Martian is one of the best movies we've had in the recent years. We've had one of my favorite movies. I'm a fan of sci-fi anyway, so that's gonna affect my bias. Just a second. But yeah, I definitely recommend this movie.
See, now I'm considering actually watching that because I have that right here and I
Yeah.
still haven't seen it.
I've withheld watching it the past few times I've looked at it because I've watched it a few times already. But yeah, definitely if you haven't seen The Martian, go out and watch it. It is a phenomenal movie, and it's one of Fox's best, easily.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's it for this episode of Distracted Media. These were our top 5 worst Fox superhero movies of all time. Did you agree with us? Did you disagree with us? If you had a different list, let us know. We really like discussing them in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. And we'll see you next time on Distracted Media.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.